Today we're going to be talking about simplifying algebraic expressions, similar to combining like terms, just a lot more distributing and more things to combine. So our vocabulary is an expression and an equation. An equation has an equal sign. So we can actually solve this down to one thing, say j equals whatever. An expression does not have an equal sign. So we can only simplify it down. We can't actually solve for what it is usually. Or it might, we do them on warm-ups where it says 3n and then it will say n equals 5. That's an expression because there's no equal sign. Even though we can solve, if we know that n is 5, we plug it in and solve, but that's an expression because there's no equal sign. The two examples we're looking at look like this. So let's start your notes. Step number one is if there are parentheses, you need to distribute. So if there are parentheses, you need to distribute. And I'm going to put right here, do not forget the negative. Negative. That's where most people make their mistakes, is they'll forget to pull that negative through. So I'm going to start. I'm going to look at my first example. There are definitely some parentheses, so I'm going to Santa hat my 2 and take it through to each of these. So 2 times 3 is 6, J. 2 times 11 is 22. It's already positive, so I leave it. And then, even though there's not a number out here, it's the same as saying I'm distributing a 1. So I Santa hat my plus 1. I take it through. 1 times 8 is 8j, so it's positive. And 1 times 7 is 7. Bring down the negative, so negative 7. Distributing on this one, again, even though there's nothing out here, it's like saying we're timesing it by 1. So I Santa hat it. 1 times 3 is 3x. 1 times 8 is 8. Positive, so I keep it. Now here's where I'm saying do not forget your negative. There is a negative outside this parentheses, which means I'm distributing a negative 1. So negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Negative 1 times x is negative x. If I bring down my plus, it would be plus a negative x. But if you remember, the negative will overpower the positive, so we're going to write it like that. Step number 2. Once you have distributed, oh my goodness, distributed, you're going to cross out, I don't know why I put that twice, all plus signs and double negatives. There has to be 2 negatives right next to each other. You'll notice I have no double negatives. So I'm not crossing out any of those. But I do have some plus signs that I don't need. So those are gone. Step number 3 is circle each number and the sign and or variable attached to it. So like on this one, there's a variable attached to it. This one, just a sign, which is a plus. This one, there's a plus 8 and a j. So make sure you circle both of them. I'm going to circle in purple. So I have 6 j's, 22 positives, 8 j's, negative 7. Here I have 3 x's, positive 8, negative 5, and a negative x or negative 1x. Step number 4 is to add like terms together. This is where we're going to do our families. So on the first example I gave you, we have j's and we have no j's. So here we have j's and then those that have none. So I start. I have 6 positive j's here. I have 22 with no name. I have 8 more j's here. And then I have 7 that are negative with no name. I'm going to put them together. 6 J's and 8 J's, since they're both positive, I end up with 14J. And 22 minus 7, so you're going back. If you want to put it in your calculator, you can do 22 literally minus 7, just like it says here, and you'll get 15. Or you can think of it as 22 positives, 7 negatives. But either way, you're going to end up with 15. And our last step here, it says put a sign between the answers. If you can't see a sign, it's a plus sign. And then a positive, just kidding, a negative will always, I don't know what happened to the rest of this, overpower a positive. So a negative will always overpower, whoops, can't see that, will always overpower a positive. So a negative will always overpower a positive. So going back to here, we're going to put a sign between them. If I can't see a sign, it's a plus. And now my answer's done. So over here I come and I look and I have, again, I have, this time my families are X and I still have none, those without a name. So I have 3 X's, I have 8 positives, and then I have 5 negatives, and then negative X, or if it helps, you can put negative 1X. So when I'm doing this, I have 3 minus 1, or 3 positives, 1 negative, which leaves me with 2X, and 8 minus 5, which is 3. No sign between them, I put my plus. And I'm done. All right, let's try some together at the bottom, and then you can pause and try these on your own. So first thing I'm looking for is to distribute. So I'm going to distribute first thing, send to my negative 7. Negative 7 times W is negative 7W. Negative 7 times negative 4 is 28. Or if you just said negative 28 and then brought down the negative, you'd have a double negative, which would still be plus 28. And then plus 3W. Get rid of my pluses. Circle each family. So I have negative 7W. I have negative 7W. And I have 28 positives. And then I have 3W. So by the time I'm done, I have 7 that are negative, 3 that are positive. That leaves me with negative 4W plus 28. Number 2. I have three R's, which doesn't change anything. I still have 3R, but I have negative 6. Do not forget that negative. Negative 6 times R is negative 6R. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. When I bring down my sign, I get positive 24. And then I do not distribute to here. So now I have negative 27. Now I start. Get rid of my plus signs. And then I have R's here and no names here. 3 R's, negative 6R, 24 positives, 27. So 3 minus 6 is negative 3R, 27 that are negative, and 24 that are positive. And you can put this in your calculator as 24 minus 27, but I already know that it's negative 3, and I am done. My last one. I have lots of things to distribute here. So first I have 3/4 times 8, and you can put it in your calculator just like that. And you will get 6P. 3/4 times 12. And some of you will just know this, which is 9. And then here it's plus, and since it's plus 3/8, it's not going to change my sign. So 3/8 times 16. And you'll get 6. And it's 6P. And then plus and a minus, my minus is going to overpower. So 3/8 times 8 should give you just 3. Get rid of my plus signs. I don't need them. You can circle them if you want because it just means they're plus. So we have p's and then no names again. I have 6 p's here, positive 9, 6 more p's here, and 3 negatives here. So by the time I'm done, I'll have 12 p's, and then 9 minus 3 is 6. Since there's no sign between them, I know it's positive. There's my answer. Okay, go ahead, pause. Go ahead, pause, and try these ones over here. Okay, let's check and see how we did. So the first one, you should have 2x plus 18y. I've shown my work at the top where I distributed. On here we have 3, for number 2 is 3k minus 14. And here we have negative 18.5s plus 28.1. Make sure you take that negative 3 through with you. All right, let's have any questions ready so that I can answer them for you.